The opposite. Ipcha mistabra. The opposite is more logical. According to the opinion that says that you need to shecht biblically, that means that there's a tradition from Halach l'Moshe Sinai. According to him, we could say the Hachi Agmarei. That was our tradition. The Ein Ikar. That birds don't have it. Even according to the one that says that I learn it from a hekesh, possibly I learned shchita from a hekesh from Zeis Teres HaBehema v'ha'oif. It tells me that because it has the word behema and oif right next to each other in the pasuk, that teaches me that the laws that apply to the animal also apply to the bird. So it's very biblical, even according to him. But I would say that it's only regarding the laws that are relevant, but ikar isn't relevant. But if I say that the laws of shchita by a bird are only rabbinic, so where did I learn it from? Mi behema. You had to learn it from the animal. The rabbis are taking it from the biblical laws of the animal. Kula milsa kebehema. But they don't know any different than what the laws that are by the animal. They're not going to make it up differently. So if I say it's a biblical law, then I can say, well, the Torah says what the laws are by the animal, it says what the laws are by the bird. But if I say that it's not a biblical law, then I only have one biblical law here, and that's by the animal. So why are you making it different by the bird? Where do you get the precedent to do that? There's no precedent to change it. So it's interesting machlekes. It's because it's like this extreme. That when can I say ikur doesn't apply to a bird? According to Rav Acha Breder Rav, is only if it's rabbinic. Rashi says no, only if it's biblical. You'd be able to say that there's the precedent or to be able to change that. Omer Ravina. Ravina says, Amali Ravin Bar Kisi, that Ravin Bar Kisi said, could be Rava Bar Kisi, they change it. Hadatani Rami Bar Yecheskel Einik Yisamanim Ba'if. This, you mentioned this in passing, that Rami Bar Yecheskel says that there's no such thing as the neck, as the pipes getting uprooted, dislocated, should invalidate the shchita by a bird. He says it only applies to an animal, doesn't apply to a bird. We had a discussion if it's biblical or rabbinic. What has he said this for? He only said it by malika. But by shchita, you would have the same problem. It's only by malika where you don't have this problem. The Gemara asks, V'amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Shmuel, Kol hakasher b'shchita kenegdei ba'orev kasher b'malika, ha-pasel. We have a problem. You said that anything that's valid for shchita at the front of the neck is valid for malika on the back of the neck. Right now, we just said, according to Ravin Bar Kisi, is that the statement of Rami Bar Yecheskel, that if one of the pipes is dislocated, it's valid only for malika. That means that I have something that's kosher for malika, but it's not valid for shchita. Kosher by malika on the back of the neck, and it's not valid for malika even at the front of the neck. The Gemara says that's a problem. In hahu pliga, it's impossible to reconcile this, and that must be a machlekes. Rav Bar Kisi cannot agree with Rabbi Yirmiyah's statement. Rami Bar Kisi's explanation of Rami Bar Yecheskel cannot agree with Rabbi Yirmiyah's statement in the name of Shmuel. Amar Zeiri. Zeiri says. Zeiri was in the first generation Amira in Babylonia. He was a friend of Rav. When they argue, it's very cute because Rav means great and Zeiri means small. So, but here he's not arguing with him. We have students that are discussing it. Zeiri makes a statement: Nishbara mifarekes v'rayv basar ima nevela. Let me just give one point here, that if an animal is a treifa, that means that it has some sort of defect that it's going to die within the year. And the shchita is done on it, they check it, and they see, oh, it was sick, it had some problem. Usually it's an internal problem, and it's a treifa, you can't eat it. But the animal is not tamei. The animal is just, it's just an animal. There's no tumah there, you just can't eat it. A nevela is when it has a some sort of wound that it dies instantly, and then it becomes tamei. So the difference between a treifa and a nevela, both of them have some sort of wound, some sort of defect. The question is, would it survive for throughout the year or less than a year, or is it like immediately dead? If it's immediately dead, then it's an avela, and then it has tumah as well. So
it doesn't have tumah.
No, not that. No, the treifa means that it had a problem in the lungs. It had a lesion attaching one lobe of the lung to the other. It had a broken leg in a certain part that it wouldn't be able to survive for the year. That's a treifa. If you did shchita on it, so the animal doesn't become tamei. Now, why? Even though you can't eat it. But then there's a nevela where the animal would die like immediately. So then the animal's tamei. So Zeiri says that if the neck and most of the flesh is broken, so it's considered a nevela. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says to that, Afanana mitanina. By the way, we also learned this in a Mishnah. Now remember, we said that if we learned it in a Mishnah, then Zeiri shouldn't be saying it. What Rav Chisda is going to do is he's going to tell us that I'm going to prove it to you from a Mishnah, even though it's not explicit in the Mishnah, and then that's acceptable for Rav Chisda to say something, for Zeiri to say something that could be derived from a Mishnah. Mishnah says, Malak b'sakin. Someone does malika with a knife. Malika needs to be done with the fingernail. Now, where's malika done? From the back of the neck. How's malika done? It breaks through the spine and probably cuts the flesh with it. Probably, let's say, cuts the flesh with it. And what's the halacha? Metame megadim abeis abliya. It makes the clothing tamei. Now, the rule of, it's called nevelas oiftar. The rule of tumah is usually something's tamei and someone touches it or moves it or carries it, makes him tamei. A kosher bird that wasn't shechted properly and it has this sort of injury that causes it to die, it's called nevelas oiftar. And the only tumah that it will pass on is while someone that eats it, while he's swallowing it, he becomes tamei, and not only does he become tamei, his clothing become tamei with him. So it's a very unique sort of tumah that how this works. It's mitami begadim abeis abliya, but what we mean to say is that it's a nevela. That's what's relevant for us. Then you have all the halachas of nevela seiftar, how it works. V'i amrit treifa have, if we say that cutting the neck, the spine, would only make it a treifa, then milikasa zui shchitasa, then this malika that he's doing with the knife, that's considered a shchita. Tahani lasakan latara midei nevela. He's proving from a Mishnah that it's considered a nevela if the neck is broken with the flesh. Why? Because by malika, if you do malika with a knife, it's considered a nevela. Now, if we say that the breaking of the breaking of the neck is only a treifa, it's not considered a nevela, then this should be considered a shchita. It shouldn't be tamei. The Gemara explains.
What's the havamina that the nevela is tamei? It's right away. It's tamei.
We're thinking that it's dead. That's the question. Oh. We're looking at this malika and saying that it's dead without any shchita. So, but now we're saying, one second, it's not real. We're saying that it's not really, if it's not considered dead, we're proving that it's considered. Why? Because he's tamei right away. If it's not considered dead, then shouldn't be tamei.
Right.
So We have a Mishnah that's saying what Zeiri said, which is Rav Chisda's proving it. The Gemara says no, it's not a good proof because Amri Hossam Mishum Dalav Shchita Hiklal. Over there, it's not a shchita. You see, a shchita. If an animal dies, it's an avela. If I did shchita on a treifa, then it's valid. Then it's not valid. Then it's valid enough that it's not mitame. I can't eat it, but it's not mitame. But I still need to do shchita. If an animal just dies, it's an avela. So here we're saying that you did a shchita. You did a shchita that wasn't good, but you did a shchita, so it's so it could be considered a treifa. And you see that it's not a treifa. Must be that the breaking of the neck is considered that it's dead. It's considered an avela. But it still needs to be a shchita for me to prove this. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Cutting from the back of the neck is not a shchita at all. So it still just died. The one point that would prove this is if the back of the neck was broken, and then someone cut from the front of the neck. That would tell me if it would be an avela there, then it would tell me that it was dead already. Or if it's a treifa there, then it would tell me that it wasn't dead already. But we're not doing that. We're saying that he shechted from the back of the neck, and that doesn't tell me anything because
obscure, it's obscure when it's
when I shech from the back of the neck, it's possible that there's no shechita. So I don't know, was it the breaking of the back of the neck or just the death of the animal that made it into an avela? Why is that not considered a shechita? We have 2 reasons. Rav Huna Mepneshu Machlid. One of the psulim, one of the 5 rules of shechita is that the knife needs to be seen. If the knife isn't seen the whole time, it's not valid. It's called machlid. Machlid means that it's like a weasel or a mole that bores its way through tunnels. It tunnels its way. So here, because when the shechita is done from the front, then the neck splits open. It's done from the back, so the bone doesn't split it open. Rava Amar Pneishu Dairus. Rava says because in order to do that, you need to chop. Mandam Pneishu Machlid. The one that says that the problem is because it's Machlid. My time Amar Pneishu Dairus. Why doesn't he say the other reason? Because you have to chop through the neck. Kasavar Meilach Mevi B'mlika Kasher. Very interesting. He holds you don't need to chop. He holds it you can go back and forth. So you go back and forth, you can get through the spine without chopping as well. However, the other opinion, Mandam Pneishu Dairus. My time alayamar neshu machlid. Obviously, he holds dairis because you can't go back and forth by malika. You need to put pressure on it. So amalach chalada hechudami. What is the case of chalada? Kechulda, like a mole. Hadara bikri abatim that goes under the houses, the tunnels in the houses. The machasya that it's totally covered. But hacha miglia. But over here, I know that it doesn't spread open, but if you're standing right there, you can still see in the split. You can still see the knife. So this won't be a chalada. Okay, whatever the case is, what we've concluded is that we have no proof from the Mishnah that nishbra mefarekas is automatically a nevela, because that could be that the Mishnah that discussed it was talking about that it died afterwards and there was no shechita there. But maybe if there was a shechita, it would only be a treifa. Did we learn today? We learned to machlaikas about shechita. Shechita for a bird is minatayra, and we learned about pushing the pipes back behind the neck. That's what we learned. Let's stop over here. Go on. Okay.
How you offer that bird?